Welcome to Harbor Spaces, where refuge meets community. Harbor Spaces is more than just a name. It's a sanctuary, a place of shelter, safety, and belonging. It's where we come to anchor ourselves, reflect deeply, and reconnect with what truly matters. Inspired by the rhythm of nature and the ever-flowing waters, Harbor Spaces offers a grounding presence in a fast-moving world. Here, we revive the lost art of community, communication, cooperation, and collaboration. This is a space for seekers, those who long for peace, purpose, and authentic connection. So take a deep breath, settle in, and welcome home. This is Harbor Spaces. Welcome back to Harbor Spaces. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing you to Emma Kelly. I had the honor of helping raise this wonderful human into this world, and I like to think that some of the effect of what I have taught her has made her be the outstanding individual she is. Of course, she's got a bunch of other parents and grandparents and influences in the world that have definitely shaped this beautiful human. And she's here to tell us her story about why she loves travel, why she loves to go out into the world and explore and see new places. And she has since developed something called Seasonal Shift, which is a platform in which Emma teaches people how to go out into the world and work at certain places, a ski lodge or a kayak place, or, just for a season, adopt that part of her life and move on. So Emma, welcome to Harbor Spaces.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. As you mentioned, I'm Emma, and I was born and raised in Alpena, Michigan. And then I hit college, moved to East Lansing to go to Michigan State, and then moved a bunch of other times in between there and now. And I guess I'm just learning to grow and figuring out what I like, and seasonal work really helped me do that. So I just want to share that with other people because I hear all the time, how do you do that? And I don't understand. I could never do that. And so I guess that's kind of why I wanted to start Seasonal Shift. And I'm in the beginning of those stages and trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate that. But go ahead.
Well, just for a little backstory, maybe you said you went to East Lansing. So, you kind of followed the traditional path, right? Which was, let's go to college right after high school. And so you went to Michigan State, right, for 4 years. And what did you study there?
So I went to Michigan State with the intention of becoming a nurse. And then COVID actually hit. And I feel like that was a huge transition point for myself and probably a lot of other people. Sure. But COVID hit the end of my freshman year of college. Oh, wow. And then we were online sophomore year and everything. But once COVID hit, I kind of realized, reevaluated is a better way to put it, what my priorities were and what I wanted to do with my life. And nursing was not it anymore. And travel was really in my head. I need to travel and make that a priority. And why can't I do it now? And so yes, COVID hit. I was still in college. And then I decided to do my first seasonal job, which was in Grand Teton National Park. And I literally just Googled jobs with housing, temporary jobs with housing or something like that. And honestly, Grand Teton National Park was the first one I looked at, and I applied, got it, and just went. And then after that experience, I ended up switching my major to environmental studies and sustainability. I realized that was more like the route I wanted to take, or at least study-wise. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I just brought that up to, kind of give everybody a backstory that you have done the traditional route, and you did graduate with, a bachelor's in
environmental studies and sustainability.
Mm-hmm. And then, knowing that is in your back pocket, you're still pursuing these other adventures. So I find it very inspiring. I know it's inspired a lot of other people, and it's kind of that methodology that do it while you still can, while you don't have a ton of responsibilities and all that sort of thing. And it's just a really good way to kind of broaden your horizons. You know, you said you were born and raised right here in Alpena, Michigan, and there's just not a lot of culture. There's not a lot of outside influence. It's pretty what it is. So it's very inspiring to get out and see those kinds of things. And especially, and I brought up the backstory because I wanted people to understand that, like, even though you take this traditional route, you don't have to jump right into it. And you know that me, your mom, dad, everybody's encouraged you to just take the path that you want to take.
Like you were saying, I took the traditional route, and then right after college, I did seasonal ski instructing for the first time, and then we can get into that later. But then after that, I moved to Charleston and also tried to continue the, right normal path, I guess, and worked in a lab using my degree, I guess, and, normal 9 to 5, indoors. I didn't even have a window in my lab. Like, it was extreme going from being outside all the time and doing what I love, and then going to the other extreme where no sunlight, 9 to 5, using my degree. And I feel like I found a lot of positives in that, and learned a lot about myself and what I could do with my degree. But I sat back and thought, I'm actually not happy doing this. And it made me realize that, even though it might be the path everyone expects you to take, it's not always the right one for yourself, and it wasn't for me. But I think I had to go through that to know that to prove to myself that, okay, this isn't for me, and to change the direction of my path again and feel confident in it. That was something I had to do. But yeah, I tried it and didn't like it. So now I'm going back to what I truly enjoy doing.
Awesome, which is your journey. And so that's kind of what I wanted to segue into, is like, what has been your journey so far? What have you done? Sort of the inspirations for doing some of these things. You said, your first one was just Google and go, which was awesome, but then it also inspired you to kind of seek that even more. So if you could just tell us about where you've been and what you've done, and maybe even where you want to take it from here.
Yeah. I guess, as you mentioned, I just Googled and go the first time, and then went back to school, got back into that routine and everything, and then I knew I wanted to ski instruct. I had always had that in the back of my mind for some reason, and it just happened to work out after college. I'm like, I'm going to take this opportunity where I don't have any responsibility. I'm free from college. I have my degree. What's next? And I actually had a friend hop on board with me. So my friend Logan and I moved out to Park City, Utah, which neither of us had been there either. And, people are like, I don't know how you go to a new place, and you really just figure it out. And we're so lucky to have technology, and I think it's a lot easier than what people expect it to be. You literally just apply, and if you hear back, right? It's normally just a phone call, and you figure out if you get the job or not. And with skiing, that was super intimidating because, I grew up skiing here in Michigan. It wasn't like I was some mountain skier,
Right.
And I feel like you just learn as you go. But
I don't think you'd ever taken any ski instruction classes, even, right? So to jump into a job where I'm going to instruct people, could be a little nerve-wracking, but
yeah, it was super intimidating. I didn't know the terms, I didn't even know what size skis I had. It was I didn't know anything, honestly. And I feel like a lot of instructors, you have the extreme where people have been ski instructing for years, and then you have people like me where it's, we're all the first time out of college, some are high school students, first time doing this. And so it's really comforting because you have a whole variety of people to learn from. And that's not even just with ski instructing. I feel like I found that in every type of seasonal work I've done. You just build a community right away because you're all there for a short amount of time. You're all there to make connections, learn new skills, and I don't know. I think it goes way beyond just having fun, and you find a lot of value in that.
Yeah. That community then also broadens the opportunities for you, because now you're meeting people all over the country or world, and then now you're making lifetime friends that you can you went from your little hub here in Alpena to okay, now I know people in Lansing, now I know people in the Tetons, and where did you and Logan go?
So yes, we went to Park City, Utah, and we road tripped out there. We left at like 11 p.m. It was a snowstorm, drove through the night. And I think that's another fun aspect of seasonal work is trying to figure out how you're going to get there, who you're going to go with, if anyone's going to go with you, where you're living, like just lots of little things that seem intimidating to figure out. But once you do it, you just realize like the whole process is fun. So anyway, we left, and I feel like in this process, you also find a lot of people that are skeptical. I don't know. I just want to instill in people that it's okay to go do these things and choose yourself and take this journey because, for example, like some people in my life were like, why are you leaving? You know, you have this great thing at home and maybe there's opportunities in front of me that were here. And, you know, I turned away from that and chose to go on my own path. But yeah, I don't know. I think.
And Park City turned out to be something super cool. I got to come visit you there, so yes. I know that it was super awesome. And then where else did you go on? Said Grand Tetons, Park City, Utah.
Then actually prior to Park City, in between both of those, I went to Big Fork, Montana. I actually did my internship there. So I did another seasonal job and got my internship credit for college. So if you just do research, I mean, you can find all these opportunities. But yes, I was in Big Fork for a summer. And for that job, it was a kayak paddleboard bike shop. And that was so fun. I literally lived in a camper with the coolest family. They're like my second family now. But anyway, yes, I did that. And then Park City. Then I had to leave there because I tore my ACL. And no, I wasn't instructing. Yeah, for the second time. Both of my knees are very healthy and strong now. But yes, anyway, tore my ACL, had to leave. Life just happened that way. Came back home, and then where'd I go? Oh, then I went to Charleston. And that move, I went with a friend, and we went for a year. So that was longer than the other seasons, I guess you could say. We signed a year lease. That's where I worked at the lab, and I also was serving. It was just a whole nother experience, you know, away from the mountains. This was beach, so it had its own environment and aura there, I guess.
Which is also kind of how you went to figure out if career life was calling you yet or not. And so you gave it that year, and I'm sure there was a lot of wonderful things that happened during that time, the people you were with and all that. But I think you discovered you weren't quite the beach bum that you thought you were, and maybe not so ready for a career yet. Where are you heading to now?
So now, like you said, I learned that I am not necessarily a beach bum. Mountains, for sure. And now I'm going to, drumroll, Whitefish, Montana. So, like I said, I did my internship out there, and my heart has always had a place, you know, for Montana. And yeah, it just happened to work out that I could go back. And I will be ski instructing again now that I have 2 good knees. Yeah, so I actually leave in 3 days.
Nice.
I guess. It comes up quick. But
and you're excited, obviously.
I'm super excited. And I'm actually living with one of the girls that I met in Park City.
Wow.
So that's one of the things about seasonal work.
Full circle again.
Yeah, you just meet people and you make these deep connections. And I don't know, there's been multiple times where I've stumbled across people that, from Grand Teton, the first time I was there or did seasonal work, like one of my roommates ended up being, his name's Evan, he ended up living with Logan and I, and he was in Tetons the same summer I was. So, and we had this friend group, and we had never crossed paths, but I knew who he was, so it was just funny. I came across him on Facebook, and then, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, that's super inspiring to segue into like why you started Seasonal Shift as a platform, you know, because now you just made full circle, like, hey, in this, 4-year period of your life, you created this whole nother family outside of, you know, your family here and your college family. And so it's really kind of, you know, broaden your perspective of like who and what family is and what they can do for you and what they offer. And I mean, this gal that you're moving into in Whitefish, you just were friends out there, right? Like, and now you're going to be roommates, and so like the family deepens. So, what's the heart and reason behind your platform, Seasonal Shift, and what inspired you to start inspiring others?
I guess the baseline of it is probably my values, and which would be, travel, family, human connection, new experiences. Those are probably like the big bases. And that, I think, inspired me personally to start doing seasonal work and following my own path and trying these things out. And then, so that leads into Seasonal Shift, because I have been doing this for a while and I just want other people to be able to experience that. Absolutely. So I think, we're so lucky to have these platforms to, I can just start a page, and I guess now I'm just figuring out direction with that. But basically the goal of it is to inspire people to just take that leap and do it, and have a space where, they can look for information and get real people feedback, and I guess just guidance to do that.
Well, kind of interesting that you came here for this podcast today feeling a little emotional by the roller coaster of what this does. So for somebody who's feeling stuck or is a little bit scared to make that leap, maybe you could real time tell them, like, the emotion that you go through, but also like the value that you find after that, and why, like, I guess I'll let you go into it, like the emotional part of it.
Yeah, I will get emotional too, because as I said, I'm moving in like 3 days, and aforementioned, I've done this before multiple times, but it never gets easier because I have such a great support system and a lot of people that love me and I love, and home always has a special place. Like,
always.
I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that, and it doesn't get easier leaving, but I think I just know what it's like to be in a new environment and reinvent yourself and just try new things, and you can always come back. I always show up at some point, whether that's to visit or to live again for a little bit. But it is super emotional, and it's hard to leave a good thing, but you're also leaving for another good thing. And even if it, you don't get what you expected out of it, say, for example, I learned Charleston wasn't my place, but all these good things came out of it, and I also got to learn, like, okay, I don't want to work in a lab. I don't necessarily want to live at the beach forever. And it just gives you more confidence, like, going forward in your other decisions, but also valuing the beauty of what you do have already. So I think seasonal work has definitely taught me, like, home is so beautiful. And if I wouldn't have left, you take it for granted because you're in it all the time.
Right. Would you see it the same way?
Right. Exactly. And I think it opened my eyes to how beautiful, like, this community is, and even Alpena itself, like, what it has to offer. And it's just every time I come home, I see it in a different light, different perspective. And it just makes me more intentional with my time with the people I love.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, could you break down some of the, like, practical steps then, as far as, like, when somebody wants to make that leap, or if they can just start following you on the platform for that kind of stuff, but, like, how to find seasonal work, how to make traveling affordable, how to build a community, something like that, like just some practical steps and getting started.
You mentioned affordability, which I think is the first thing that people get caught on. Like I said, I did this in college. I didn't have a dime to my name, probably. I probably owed you money, my other parents money. So you can do it without, you need a little bit of money, but not that much. Tetons, had housing and food, and
so that's a practical step right there, finding work that has housing involved, which is like what you said you Googled the first time. So that's...
Yeah, you can literally Google seasonal work with housing.
Right.
And there's ample opportunities. And then, I didn't even have a car out there. Like, you make do, and you meet friends, and they'll drive you, or, I lived in a dorm in the Tetons. And then my internship, I lived in a camper. So that was an experience. I would do it again though. Park City, I actually lived in a hotel. So it's really just whatever you can make happen. A lot of messaging on Facebook, there's a lot of different like group chats. I literally look up exactly what I'm looking for. Like Facebook, it was like Salt Lake housing, temporary housing in Park City, stuff like that. And you just have to do some digging and figure out what works for you.
Just look at like that job that you've always wanted to have, or like, a space that you'd always wanted to go to, and just start like searching that area. I mean, I'm sure ChatGPT could like help in that aspect too, because it's like browsing the whole web for you. But like, I think, maybe a practical tip to like getting started would be like, what have you always wanted to do?
Right.
What have you always wanted to see? Like, get paid to be there.
Yeah,
like Grand Tetons became like one of your favorite places. It's not like you necessarily searched that out. It just became like, holy cow, these are beautiful mountains. I'm living right in it. Like, so.
Yeah, I guess that would be the first starting point. Where do you want to go? And I get stuck on like the natural beauty. There's a lot of different areas of seasonal work, like I said, I get stuck on the natural beauty. So I'm looking for national parks, that's what I look for, or outdoor activities and stuff like that. But
the same thing could be said for a city, Austin, Texas, or, you wanted to go to San Diego, California, because that's always been a place you wanted to go. There's definitely seasonal work in every place you go to, especially if it's a tourist-based place,
Even here, I didn't know we had seasonal work, and then I came home and, it's something I would not have looked for.
Right. Beautiful. Well, so what are some of the growth steps that have happened for you, making your first leap, and then, how it's progressively got easier, and, what was sort of, how have you evolved through your seasonal shift work?
I guess overall, a good word would be confidence. I think confidence when things go wrong, confidence doing things by myself, confidence meeting people, confidence would be a good word for it. I think it gets better. It's super intimidating the first time, but I think the more you do it, like I'm not nervous to go move somewhere new. I could go completely alone and I would know I'm okay. I think it provides a different sense of security in yourself doing these things.
Well, yes, and so you said like it gave you a perspective of courage, right? Is that what you just said? Courage, like.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No. What did you say? Confidence.
Yes.
Gave you. I was like.
I said it like 6 times.
Yes, I know. And then I'm like switching the word on you. The confidence that you got, because you didn't have that at first. How did stabilizing your place help you build that confidence? Like, because confidence comes with a sense of maybe not having expectation, leaving out like you said, living in a camper. Like if somebody doesn't want to live in a camper and they're forced to live in a camper, this is going to be hard for them to stabilize,
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, like, honestly, it's about like not necessarily lowering your expectation, but like not having that, I don't know. I guess I'm asking you, like, what helped you stabilize into that confidence?
To go off what you were saying about, someone living in a camper, some people don't want to do that. And I think you can find what you're looking for. You can fine tune your own experience to an extent. And I think that, you can be picky and you should be picky so you're comfortable. And the camper is just a good example. Like, that's something I'm totally comfortable with. Like, I don't care. I didn't have a bathroom and I was fine with that. But some people might not enjoy that experience. But yeah, so I think those are things you can fine tune. But like you're saying, sometimes you can't have expectations because they're either not going to meet it or, I think expectations kind of ruin the experience.
Sure.
And I've always gone in, yes, fine-tuning those little things like, how am I going to get there? What do I need? I still want my belongings to make me feel comfortable, but I don't have any expectation for this drive. I don't know where I'm going to stop. I don't have any expectations in meeting new friends. I don't expect to find good food. Like, I don't know. I think going in blind is almost better because it's all new to you and you can figure out what you do and don't like, but I think not judging it too hard is important.
Yeah, I've found through my travels, the less I expect and the less I plan, the more fun it is. And it gives you more opportunity to like go with the wind. Like if you're traveling and you decide, you know, you don't want to head straight to the Tetons, you want to like veer over here and go check out a hot springs or do something, like if you're like, well, we have a motel or a hotel booked for tonight over there, we have to get to that space, it really narrows down your ability to just go with the flow. And I've just found, you know, when I go international, I book the first hotel, so I have a place to go, and then I find my bearings and I go from there, and it's nothing's ever scheduled, and I'll be there for like 14 days just like, okay, to wake up in the morning like, what's today, you know? And then I just find that just leaves that sense of adventure and wonder and this search for the next available, because the next hasn't been planned from your room here in Alpena of what it's going to look like in South Dakota on the way there.
Right.
You know, like, you don't have that expectation. It just leaves such a beautiful space for wonder and coincidence, new people to run into your life, you know. I mean, but based on that, there's always going to be challenges. So what some of the challenges that you've had along the way that you could share with people and maybe how you overcame them?
Well, first, to piggyback off of what you were just saying, that's another great thing about seasonal work is you're not stuck for very long. I find a lot of value in that because I don't know what I want long term, necessarily long term, career wise. And seasonal work gives you the opportunity, you know, you're there temporarily and you can choose to stay or leave if you want. So you're not stuck. I think that's a huge thing that I enjoy, that I like to touch on. But challenges, definitely, like we talked about, leaving family and friends, that's super hard, and luckily you all are so supportive and I appreciate that, and we have FaceTime, so that's a cool thing. Beyond that, I've had really lonely moments.
Sure.
I think that would be probably my number one. I mean, you can turn anything into a positive.
Yeah, let's go into that. Like some of those lonely moments, how do you get out of it? You know, I mean, some people can spiral right into depression, but how would you find space for yourself in those moments?
I think Montana comes to mind when I was in Big Fork for my internship, that I really experienced a lot of loneliness because I was going on hikes by myself, for example, and seeing these beautiful things and having these amazing experiences. And then you kind of sit back and realize, like, I'm all by myself doing this. And it just shows you the value of sharing that with other people, I think. But I also had to go through that to realize that. But in those moments, I think there were points where it would have been easier probably to just shut down, or, you know, I could just stay in the camper or wherever I was living and, you know, not push myself to meet new people, not go out to lunch by yourself because it's awkward to go to a restaurant and they're like, how many? You're looking at it, party of one. Then they put you in the corner. But I think in those moments, I would feel it for a second and then try to flip the script and understand, like, okay, this is so beautiful. Look, you're doing this by yourself. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Maybe would be so much cooler with somebody here with me, but you just sit back and take those moments and realize, like, okay, I am doing this by myself. Like, that's super cool in itself. So I think that's what got me through. That's
beautiful because, I mean, it kind of grounds you into who you are. It brings up your shadows of what you've been denying throughout your life, or, you know, some of those traumas that it gives space for that. And, you know, we grow through what we go through, right? And so it's a beautiful thing to just put yourself into those awkward moments. And I mean, I commend you, and so many other people do, I mean, for allowing that to happen in your life. Because I mean, in this society, we're wrapped into our phones and to our busyness and to our constant next thing, so that we don't have to deal with those shadows and those traumas and those things that come up. And I just, again, commend you for spending that time going on those hikes, you know, sitting in that dining room by yourself, you know, because I've been the same. I do the same thing, and I want to know who I am. We're not on this planet to just be busy workers until we're done and then like rot away in retirement.
Right.
You know, and I think that's part of like why you're so interested in seasonal work. And, you know, of course, you can always go back to using your career and going into that path. And I'm sure you will at some point, you know, but we also don't go through life just learning things to not use them. So the ability to build community and find your way through difficult spaces and ground yourself into who you are and starting to like really look in the mirror and say, who am I? It really develops a much stronger character and a better person in the world who can be more compassionate and understanding of what everybody else is going through, you know, because you've taken time to see yourself. So again, nice work, and you know, great job, like wanting to help others see through that, which is like what you started Seasonal Shift for. And we'll get into that in a minute of what that necessarily is and like how you want to help people with it. But just to go full circle as to like you're moving into your next iteration of you, go into a little bit more about what Whitefish is looking like, what you anticipate, and kind of even how it's evolved into something that you're feeling a little more, I mean, from what I've gathered, a little more like, hey, maybe I want to like even set up a little bit more of a route or whatever here. So if you could go into your next season.
Yes. So I decided on the place first. I feel like I knew.
That's cool.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to go to Whitefish because I had been to Montana. I visited Whitefish, and then it has a combination of everything that I'm looking for now that I know it's not the ocean or the beach. But yeah, I knew, you know, there's the mountain, there's fresh water. I have the family I lived with an hour away.
Beautiful.
And then
To that community.
Yep. And then my friend from Utah was there, and kind of all the stars were just aligning. And I feel like when that happens that way, it's kind of the right choice.
Yeah.
I came back here for a little bit after Charleston, and then the winter season starts like in a month. So timing worked out, the place worked out, you know, we found housing via Facebook. There's 4 of us. And so Katie and I know each other, her friend, and then we have a random roommate. It's just, you just make do, yeah. And you figure out, you know, you either make new friends or you just make it work. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. And I feel like this area also has things to offer seasonally year round as well. Like, I don't necessarily know my plan, but I know I have this winter season. And then, like you mentioned, I kind of want to probably build a little more. I'm just at that point, I feel like, in my life where I need a little bit of stability for myself. Because it is hard. It's tiring moving a lot. And, you know, you build a community and leave it. And then to keep doing that, sometimes that I would say that's another challenge. But I think Whitefish is a place where I want to stay and kind of tie some roots in some type of way for myself. But yeah.
Which is what I think is really cool about you and wanting to inspire other people through Seasonal Shift is to say like, hey, you may need this little gap. Like, you don't have to make this a lifestyle. You can, people do, you know, but also it's flushing out the do's and don'ts of what you really want with your life by doing this. And it's been a 4-year stint. And now, like, after 4 years, you're like, well, I don't know. How long's your stay in Whitefish right now? How long's your lease?
Till April.
So
I could leave.
Oh, okay. So it is seasonal, you know. So it's like I'm not
right. I'm not
might root in, might not. Not
I'll
sure.
keep you updated.
Which is cool because then you know you're really just allowing yourself to go with the flow, and you're saying, you know, I'm only committing to this part, but like at the same time, it seems like a place that I might want to grow a little root system and you know, start a family, not like your own family, but a bigger family. Well, maybe you do. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But you know, knowing that you have a family that you stayed with an hour away, you have friends that you met from Utah coming up, and like it's really cool to see that, you know, through shifting through the seasons, you have created your own I'll say community rather than family, but like it gives you a sense of grounding. It gives you like a space outside of Alpena and your immediate family and that feeling where you can decide where you want to go. And so with the vision and the invitation to everyone else to follow you on your platform, and what you would like to do for them as far as inspiring them. And yeah, so just go into Seasonal Shift a little bit more, your platform, how people can connect with you, and what you would like to see for the future of like helping everybody get to the space that you're at.
I guess, like I mentioned before, I feel like the vision is to inspire people to do it. And I just want to create a space where everyone can kind of, if you want to share your story, you can too, because there's a lot that I don't even know. Like, I'm still learning. I feel like it's the more you know you don't know. So I'm learning that I don't know a lot. I just want it to be a place where people can find inspiration to do it, share their stories too if they want to. And I don't know, just like a real community, I'm talking about the challenges that I went through, and it's not always pretty, and that's life. And I think that needs to be shared more. And I want that to be a space where you can share your concerns or what went wrong, what went right for you. And yeah, just talk about different seasonal jobs that people can explore, hopefully.
Well, how can they connect with you? What's your platform? Where can they find you?
Right now, I'm on Instagram. We're like fresh. We're getting there. So Instagram is seasonal shift _ all together. And then I will start TikTok, but this is a little intimidating. Like, I feel like I don't necessarily want to be doing this for me. Like, I want to do it so other people can have their questions answered, So it's been uncomfortable starting it, but I think I'm finally at the point where I just, hit the gas. And yeah, I think it could be something super special, but yeah, Instagram right now.
Instagram. Excellent.
TikTok, incoming. And then, yeah.
Well, we'll put a link in the show notes about your Instagram page so people can follow you there.
Thanks.
Hopefully you'll, record a lot along the way and inspire people, because you said it's a new platform. And so maybe take this opportunity as you travel out to show some of the challenges and some of the difficulties, but also how much fun you're having and, the beautiful and inspiring parts all the same. So super cool. Super proud of you. I've always been proud of you and your choices in life. And this is inspiring to me. I know it's inspired a lot of people in Alpena, a lot of your friend group, but also the adults in your life who are just like, wow, I'd never made that choice. And I'm so proud of her for doing that. So again, find Emma on Instagram at Seasonal Shift. Is it Seasonal Shift _?
Yeah.
Okay. And, before we go, is there any parting words, any last inspiration, anything that you want to say to the beautiful people out there?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you so much for being so supportive. Like you mentioned, I see people in the community and people my age and older and all the age ranges, and they're just like, that is so cool that you're doing that. And I feel so supported and so loved. And that's one of the things that makes Alpena as a community so beautiful. And I'm just super grateful for that. And yeah, I just want to share it with everyone and let them know that they can do it too. You can come with me. Yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to touch on is like any age can do it.
Right.
One of my favorite seasonal work characters, I like to say characters because it's just fun.
We're all iconic little characters.
Yeah, there's always characters. Is Linda. She is she was 65, the coolest woman ever. She worked with us cleaning cabins, driving around the golf cart. And yeah, it's just so fun. I had ski instructors, 18 to 70, anyone can do it.
Wow, that just sparked to me, just thinking about people who retire and then, they find themselves sort of bored or they wish they, dude, go do some seasonal work somewhere and live a place and you can go back home. You can still pay your mortgage and travel and enjoy it. So good point to like say this isn't just your gap year between college and the rest of your life that you can do this. This is for everybody. I'm glad you pointed that out. So
yeah, it's fun. And thanks for inspiring me too. In all the ways, especially traveling too.
Traveling and also just starting new things. I mean, Harbor Spaces is a new platform for me. And so, you know, I feel your pain when you're like, make that leap, do that thing, put yourself out there. But also, we all need to tell our story. It is that time, you know, we have these voices and we have our lives for a reason, and we need to use our voice and show off what we're doing. That's why social media and everything's became so popular, and you know, it needs to be used in a more inspiring way than, you know, for bickering and opinionated stuff. It needs to be like, hey, let's just get out and do things and have fun again and see the beauty of the world. So again, continue to do that and continue to inspire people. And so reach out to Emma, become part of her platform, support her, like her, subscribe, whatever. Just love her because she's a great human.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, thank you for being here on Harbor Spaces, sharing your story, spending some time with us, and just sharing your love in the world. And I know by going to visit some of these places she's been that she's an inspiration to all the people that's there too. And she creates a really beautiful community. And as like someone who's part of her life, to like see people build that community and be able to broaden their sense of who they are and feel supported out in the world where it can feel intimidating and scary. It's nice to know that, you know, with an open heart, people are generally kind and supportive in all aspects, and you are going to attract the frequency of people that you are. So you being beautiful as you are and just open and leading with your heart.
Yes.
You create that community around you. So thanks for your inspiration. Thanks for your love. Thanks for what you do. And I look forward to coming to Whitefish and seeing you out there and all the other places you travel to. So again, thank you for being here today. And thank you, community, for showing up and supporting us here on Harbor Spaces.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers. Love you.
Love you. So fun.